How did the Iron Curtain eventually fall? Have you ever wondered how a wall could symbolize so much more than just concrete and barbed wire? The Iron Curtain was not just a physical barrier. It represented the deep divide between Eastern and Western Europe during the Cold War. This division was marked by contrasting political, economic, and social systems. The Iron Curtain speech, delivered by Winston Churchill in 1946, highlighted this separation and warned of the dangers posed by the Soviet Union's influence in Eastern Europe. As time went on, the reality of life behind the Iron Curtain became increasingly difficult for many. The socialist systems in place were often authoritarian, leading to widespread dissatisfaction. The economies in these Eastern Bloc countries were centralized and inefficient, resulting in shortages of basic goods. This economic stagnation fueled dissent among the people, who began to demand change. In the 1980s, the Soviet Union was under the leadership of Mikhail Gorbachev. He introduced reforms known as Perestroika, which means restructuring, and Glasnost, which translates to openness. These reforms aimed to revitalize the economy and increase transparency within the government. However, rather than stabilizing the situation, they sparked greater demands for freedom and reform across Eastern Europe. External pressures also played a significant role in the decline of the Iron Curtain. The United States and other Western nations applied diplomatic and economic pressure on the Soviet Union, further straining its resources. Independent movements began to rise in Eastern Europe, with Solidarity in Poland leading the charge against the communist regime. These movements inspired others and created a wave of resistance against authoritarian rule. The most dramatic moment marking the fall of the Iron Curtain was the collapse of the Berlin Wall in November 1989. Erected in 1961, this wall physically separated East and West Berlin and became a powerful symbol of division. As protests grew louder and demands for reform intensified, the East German government announced that East Germans could travel to the West. This announcement led to thousands gathering at the wall, and soon after, border guards began to open the gates. The wall was ultimately torn down, signifying the end of the division in Europe and the beginning of the end of the Cold War. The fall of the Iron Curtain led to a wave of democratization across Eastern Europe. Countries that had been under authoritarian communist regimes began to embrace new political and economic systems. While the fall did not result in the establishment of socialist societies as originally envisioned, it marked a significant shift towards democracy and freedom. The events surrounding the Iron Curtain illustrate the struggle for genuine democratic control and the challenges faced by movements seeking to create more equitable societies.